Balance. Our lives are controlled by balance. Whenever we encounter excess stress in our lives, we need appropriate stress responses in order to bring our lives back into balance. When we get sick, our immune system is upregulated in order to fight the infection. Stress meets stress response in order to achieve balance. However, there are instances in which this balance can be exploited or dysregulated. The case I want to talk about today are herpes viruses. Herpes viruses are one of the most prevalent viruses that infect humans. At one point in our lives, most people in this room will have encountered a herpes virus, whether that's roseola, chickenpox, or cold sores. What these viruses are really good at is establishing a latent infection. What this means is that when they infect the cell, they hide from the immune system. They don't produce any more virus, and they often don't cause any symptoms. However, these viruses can reactivate, and when they do, they start producing more and more viruses, and this is when we start to see symptoms. In the case of cold sores, this seems to happen on the same day that you have a big date or a really important meeting to go to. You see, herpes viruses are really good at sensing imbalances in our system. Whenever we have excess stress, they take that moment to reactivate. In the case of the herpes virus that I study, human herpes virus 8, this virus takes advantage of a weak immune system in order to cause a cancer called Kaposi sarcoma. In this case, the virus really needs to establish a fine balance between latency and reactivation. While latency is really good for hiding away from the immune system and initiating the cancer, it needs this reactivated state in order to produce more virus and progress the cancer further. However, it's not well understood how the virus is able to do this and regulate the balance between latency and reactivation. That's where my thesis comes in. I'm interested in knowing how human herpes virus 8 is able to establish this balance between the two states. In order to do this, I have created mutant viruses that lack viral proteins called caposins. Now, these proteins have been implicated in the ability for the virus to establish its latent state. By getting rid of these proteins, I hope to be able to determine whether the virus is still able to maintain its tight regulation on latency versus reactivation. In so doing, I hope that this insight will lead to better development so that we can perturb or disrupt this balance between latency and reactivation in order to tip the scales back in our favor in our fight against herpes. Thank you very much.